Welcome to Spate's ODT Rugby Chat for another week. Look, I'd like to apologise. I haven't done one for 4 or 5 weeks, so I'm a wee bit remiss. Snowy from Spate's is actually going to come on tonight. It's been telling me that they're paying us this huge money in sponsorship, and I haven't done one for 4 or 5 weeks. So look, I've been away. I've been at the Test match. I've been in Blenheim. I've been away. But look, I'm back on tonight because I'm pretty excited because it's Test weekend. So tonight I've got a couple of special guests. I've got Des Smith, the president of Otago Rugby. He's not doing near enough work for Otago at the stage, but we'll talk about that shortly. And our special guest tonight is Gareth Davies, all the way from Wales. Gareth is he's the chairman of the Welsh Rugby Union, and as you'll find out, he's played rugby, he's captained Wales, and he's played for the Lions, so he's done everything. So Gareth, mate, we'll start with you. Look, welcome to New Zealand for a start.
Thanks.
Now, you were telling me before you turned up, you arrived just before the first test, and
yeah, we got into Auckland on Wednesday before the first test, and sort of took a day or two to acclimatise and straight into it. So we I had a day with Brent Impey, the chairman of the New Zealand Rugby Union, to try and find out.
I hear the relationship's been a wee bit.
Well, no, I think look, because we're a new team back in Wales, so it was a case of trying to establish and sort of build on relationships, and so we started at the top with the chairman.
Right.
And we had a great few days with Steve Tew down in Wellington. And
so Chewy was good to you?
Yeah, Chewy was great.
It could be quite grumpy, Chewy.
Yeah. We had a good few days. It's been great for us. Martin Phillips, our new CEO, was out as well.
So you were telling me before you've actually put in you've basically, now that you've come onto the board in the last year or so, you've actually got a whole new management team in place at Welsh Rugby.
Well, not totally new, but we've tweaked the executive team. There've been quite a few changes on the board itself. We're a very clunky, big board. We're 20 of us on the board currently. So
yeah, I did look at that on your website today. I was doing a lot of, as you can imagine, I was doing a lot of research today, and I saw 20 little round photos, and I'm thinking that's a lot of people on board.
Yeah, but a lot of them do a lot of good work out in the community, out in the clubs. We've taken on board 2 independent non-executive directors who who have held or are holding sort of pretty responsible jobs in corporate life.
Right.
And they've been great. They've really contributing so much, because people are very sceptical. These people who aren't involved in rugby, what are they going to give us?
Yes.
But they've been great, and I think all board members will appreciate their input. So I think we're moving. We're looking at a governance review at the moment to try and sort of to tweak the board in some ways, not for people to lose their spots, but to work in a more efficient way.
Right. Des, we'll bring you in, mate. Now, look, I was having a crack at you last week because you had one day off last week when you were working for the Otago Rugby Union. Now, you're not, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is an unpaid role as president.
Yeah.
So, mate, but I've seen you around the tracks a lot. So you must be enjoying it, though. Are you doing a lot of work?
Oh, I'm loving it. It's great because I'm meeting so many people I haven't seen for so long. Like last night, for example, I was up in Roxburgh for the country board meeting, and thoroughly enjoyed that, and I was able to have some input into that meeting, and I know they appreciated me being there. Tomorrow night I'm heading down to Awaka, join John Ladder, and hopefully take Phil Mooney. Phil Mooney's in town at the moment.
Now, I heard that Phil was in town, so now is he still coaching in Brisbane?
He's with Brisbane Grammar, so he looks after, he's director of rugby for the school there. So he's brought an under-15 team. He's been over all week. They play Kings earlier in the week, and they play Boys High tomorrow. So I'm hoping Phil and his management team might come down with me tomorrow night, and we'll watch, I think it's Awaka Lawrence tomorrow night under lights.
So they're going to play that so they can come up for the test?
Yeah, that's right. It means they've got the day free, and they can come through, and evidently they put on a meal for everything for the players, and they have a really good night down there. So yeah.
But you must be enjoying it. That's sort of right up your alley. You love schmoozing, getting around, having a chat, having a few beers with a few of the lads. You're a great schmoozer.
I enjoy the company of people.
Right.
I mean, to me, life is about people, and that's what rugby's been so good to me. I've met so many people. Just talking to Gareth, all the tours I've been on. I've had 2 tours over to Wales. Met some magnificent people over there, and they've become lifelong friends.
Yeah.
So it's just a wonderful experience for me.
Excellent work, mate. Look, Gareth, we'll bring you back in. So let's quickly talk about your international career. I'm sure quickly because you played 21 tests from what I can see. So you would have played. Did you play your first test against the All Blacks?
Yeah,
1978.
My first test at home. I played twice against the Wallabies in Sydney. That was after the Phil Bennett era, so I came in straight after Benny, and so my first test was in Australia. But then the first test was at home, which is almost like getting your first test again, if you like. And it was against the All Blacks, and the whole build-up was sort of 25 years, we haven't beaten the All Blacks, and you guys are going to be legends if you beat them. And we were there within within a swallow dive of getting there.
Well, look,
So,
we were just talking about that before off air, because I was just thinking that we don't talk about it much because.
no, I've noticed that.
Let's be honest, it's pretty embarrassing when you see it now, and every now and again we'll show the Andy Hayden swallow dive out of the line.
We did a lunch. I did a lunch with Stu Wilson in Auckland day before the first test, and they had a big screen and they showed it.
Yep.
And they, the first sort of in real time, and then they kept playing it in slow motion.
Just to
the
get
whole audience were laughing. So I was like,
Yeah.
I think it's guilty, mate.
It's really embarrassing, but you will of course know that what we've actually gone with is the fact that it wasn't actually Andy Hayden didn't get the penalty. It was Jeff Wheel having his hand on the other lock.
Yeah.
What I mean.
That's what they're saying.
That's what we're going
Yeah,
with.
that's
Do you agree with that?
your story. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was pretty. I mean, from memory, it was so that was that penalty that McKechnie kicked won the game. So I mean, Wales were obviously right in that game.
Yeah, I think it was.
You must consider yourself unlucky.
Yeah, no, we did. Our forwards were magnificent that day because so I grew up in the era of New Zealand rucking and the ferocity up front, etc. You didn't go down on the ball because you knew it'd come out like a combine harvest at the other end. But our forwards, sort of Jeff Wheel, Paul Ringer, remember the Pontypool.
He was a big tough man.
Yeah, and we sort of met them fire with fire, and they were magnificent. And we sort of say we were 12-10 with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, just sort of tripped up.
So you played 21 tests. Now you also played for the Lions, but you only played. I see you only played one test. Did you get injured on that tour? It was that 80 tour to Africa, was it?
Yeah, it was 80 tours to South Africa. I sort of did my shoulder in the first game, so I missed the first test.
Right.
So I got back in time, played the second test, and then did my medial ligaments sort of 10 minutes from the end. And then likewise in 83, I sort of did my same knee again in the sort of build up of the Six Nations, five nations as it was. So I missed the 83 tour as well. So injury prone, I'm afraid.
Right, Des, let's bring you back in quickly, mate. What's your job for the next few days, apart from schmoozing and boozing with everybody and taking people to Balclutha?
Yeah.
What have you got an official role over the weekend?
Not really. I've offered Gareth to show him around Dunedin and his lovely wife if they choose to. So that's an opportunity. But apart from being over at Boys High and having a look at the game with Phil and his Brisbane Grammar team tomorrow afternoon. Then there's Saturday itself. My wife and I guess the New Zealand Rugby Union.
Oh, they actually do give you a ticket to the test. That's good.
That's very good. Yeah. So we meet at the Southern Cross, and we're looked after there initially, and Gareth and his wife will be there as well. So then we bus down to the ground and hosted in a corporate box for the game, and then after the game, and then we go back for the after-match function at the Glenroy Auditorium. So finishing about midnight, I understand. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Excellent. Right, so talk me through. So where do you see Welsh rugby at now? All we really see is obviously Gatlin's team. So, but where is Welsh rugby at? What are numbers like? Is it in good health? Where is it at?
Yeah, look, it's tough. I'm not sure if you're finding the same thing in New Zealand, but sort of it's a battle today, isn't it? With the change in society. There's competition from other sports. You probably picked up. The football team is doing really well in the Euros.
Can I just ask you about that? So, I mean, obviously rugby's still the number one sport, right, in the country now. It's a touch and go.
It's always a matter of debate. I think rugby is the only sport that fills Principality Stadium, 75,000 people.
Yep.
But more kids play soccer than rugby. Right. And that's always been the case.
So with how big in Wales is Wales have just qualified for the last 16.
Yeah.
That just shows you how well rounded I am when it comes to sport. So they've just qualified for the last. Gareth Bale's been a superstar. So how big has that been in Wales over the last couple?
It's been huge. I've just been picking stuff up on social media. So we've got fan zones in Cardiff, in North Wales, in West Wales, and they've been really celebrating, obviously. Right. And I think what the Welsh, I'm sure, like the New Zealanders, if any sporting team is successful, they celebrate. And sometimes I get a bit cheesed off. People always bring up the debate, is it rugby or football? Who cares?
It doesn't matter.
As long as we're doing well, as long as kids are competing at sport, that's my philosophy.
So you're saying, your numbers are down slightly?
No, I wouldn't say they're down. It's a battle to keep them. Where we have a battle, which I think, again, is similar across the world. Our kids coming in at 7, 8, 9 years of age is absolutely fantastic. We tend to lose them at critical points when you're 15, 16.
Yeah.
It's exam time, it's boys find other things in life like we've all done.
Girls, probably.
And then we have another drop-off point, 18, 19, when they go to university or whatever, And it's a battle here. So at those particular points, you're battling with other sports, and you're battling with changes in society.
Right.
Yeah.
But generally, look, it's in good health. But you need that sort of top performance. I think at the highest level to keep encouraging kids.
Look, we might, Des, look, you know, I gave you a bit of stick in the paper last week and said you did do nothing last Thursday. You had a whole day off from the rugby union. So look, I've been talking to Snowy from the brewery, who's turned up tonight at 2. You know, he's actually offered to supply beer to this bar for the next 6 or 8 weeks, which is great, because I'm telling you, I'm starting to run out of cash. But so we've actually got you a nice little a Spates jacket, and for all the work you've done, especially this year as the president, and I've just got us drag Snowy in now, and we can have a quick chat with Snowy. But here, there's the brand new Spates jacket for you, mate.
Thanks very much. That's fantastic.
No worries.
I've always been a spaceman.
Look, I mean, and Snowy's been great. I wrote this in the paper last week without talking to him, but I thought I'd get a hold of him when we actually talked to your son to see what you really needed, and then he decided that was what we were after.
Yeah.
So Snowy, just quickly, Spates will be pretty busy for the test this weekend. Lots on.
Yeah, so obviously, you know, big weekend for the city, obviously, in general. So Steinlager as well. So 30 years involved with the All Blacks.
Is that why you brought some Steinlager up tonight?
That's exactly right. Yeah, I thought it'd be to do that, given it's a Steinlager series and we're third test here in Dunedin. But yeah, big weekend. The brewery itself's obviously, you know, pretty full over the weekend. It's historically a busiest weekend of the year. So looking forward to it. It's going to be a bloody good one.
Excellent. Well, Gareth, we're just a couple of points to finish with you. Just look, so the tour, you haven't had a win yet.
Nope.
Well, perhaps I shouldn't have reminded you of that, but you haven't had a win at this stage.
Not easy Monday.
But what do you look? They're playing. Your top side are playing well. Let's be honest. And everybody was predicting. New Zealanders have been predicting massive wins, and that hasn't happened. You boys scored the last couple of tries in the test last weekend. Where do you see, is this building towards what for you guys in terms of?
For us, look, it's building towards 19, next Rugby World Cup. And I don't think we've never had that sort of psychology in Wales. It's always the next game, we've got to win the next game. But I think what has become clear on this trip, you're quite right, our number one team is competitive against the best. Okay, you've had the edge on us, you've always had extra 5 or 10 minutes in a match where you're cleared ahead. But it does show we're competitive. The guys through the coaches have changed the style somewhat. I think we've come into the modern world of realising we've got to play a bit of a wider, quicker game, and I think we've got players to do that. But we need to ensure now that the next breed of player, next generation of player coming through,
so we're
adapt to that.
Yeah, so by bringing this 35 or 36, as we always thought, Jesus, you've got to go and play the Chiefs. Oh, you're mad. But I mean, that's been. I mean, you played some of your test team, but most of those guys. They're only going to play.
I think Sam and Charteris played, I think, out of necessity because of injuries. So I don't think Warren wanted to play them, but he had to do that, and that's touring. You find those challenges when you're on tour. But look, it's been the people back home have been sort of. I think they were expecting us to suffer as well, and be on the losing end. But look, we've been competitive for 2 games. I just hope we can keep it going for Saturday. I think we've earned the respect of the New Zealand rugby public to date by playing some good stuff. We scored Wales in New Zealand. Over our history, we scored 9 tries on New Zealand soil.
Right.
And we scored 5 in the last 10 days.
Well, that's not.
So that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Well, boys, there is club rugby on this weekend, lads. So we'll just quickly talk. I'll get some predictions from you, both you guys. Obviously, Snow, you're a big Zingaree man. So we'll talk about that Zingaree game first. Zingaree battling a bit. They're third bottom. They're playing Kaikoura this weekend. How are they going to go?
Yeah, look, that Kaikoura team's been going bloody good. Paul Grant and Lee Allen, I see, played last week, so they've made a difference. But yeah, I'll go with Zingaree.
Zingaree, what are you thinking? You're a kite man.
I am a kite man.
Okay, Tyree Green Island. Now that, to me, lads, is the toughest game of the round. Tyree Green Island. Green Island now 4 points ahead of them. Tyree will be absolutely hating that. They'll be cutting arms off out there. So do Tyree get up and beat Green Island at the toolbox this weekend?
Just purely for the fact that Finchie's involved with the side again, I'm going to say no, Green Island.
Green Island,
Yeah,
right.
I'll go with the guys. I think Tyree got a lot of injuries. Green Island, they're going well.
You're picking Green Island as
I'll
well?
go with Green Island, yeah.
Okay, we've got Dunedin and AU.
Dunedin.
Yeah, I like Dunedin as well.
And Varsity and Harbour.
Varsity.
Varsity. And the other game, I think, could be Cricket School Southern Pirates.
Yeah, Southern.
Righto. Look, just get a quick predict. We've got to finish. We're running out of time. We had a stopwatch on, but I turned that off somehow. So, just quickly, we'll just get a prediction from the test. Gareth, we'll start from you. What are you picking for the test?
Well, look, our guys have been confident going into both games, and I think, despite losing last week, we'll have gained further confidence. I think so. I've got to go for a Welsh win.
Welsh win. What are you thinking, Des?
Yeah, I think All Blacks, but not by a lot.
Yeah, I'm with Des. I think he'll be 6 or 8 points in, and that's about it.
Okay, boys, look, thanks for coming along tonight. We'll stay and have a couple of beers, but just quickly, there's 2 big games this weekend. I think Tyree Green Island is the big game of the round. Look, these guys are picking Green Island. I don't know if there's any Highlanders playing. If there's no Highlanders playing, and I bagged Tyree big time in the paper tomorrow, and I apologise to all those Eel supporters, but I think Tyree get up and win. And the All Blacks, All Blacks Wales. All Blacks have made a couple of changes. Interesting session. Good to see a couple of Highland boys getting a start. I think they win by 10 to 15. And hopefully we'll talk to you again next week.